God bless you guys. This is Sean here. I just want to come on here and talk to you about some very important stuff, guys. I wanted to say to you that this, first of all, what I mentioned about this September there being a big shutdown, I want to say something about that. There could very well be a shutdown, like I was thinking, but my dream was clear of what I heard. But I'm saying I must have misinterpreted it maybe a little bit, because what I heard originally, guys, in the dream is it was going to be a great boarding up and to gather all the people up. And what I interpreted that as originally as get your get your grain what you need from the Lord in the storehouse of heaven, because he is going to lock it up on October, which is true. I'm going to lock the key up. But I talked to a brother months later, and he told me he had a dream about the same boarding up. He was told this. Well, I didn't tell him my dream, and he said he was told there would be a great boarding up, but he interpreted it differently, and I went with his interpretation. But I'm thinking it's probably my original interpretation, because either way, there is going to be a great boarding up of stuff in October, and you need to get your grain, whatever you need from the Lord then. Because this is, you may not understand this, but there's going to be a locking up of the storehouses of heaven. There's not going to be any rain physically or spiritually until the times of this prophecy are over. And so you need to get that ready, but you know, there could be some kind of shutdown. We need to be watching for this, like physical shutdown. But I interpreted originally as being locking in the down. But sometimes people tell me I'm too spiritual, so I try to be open to what they're saying, and they think it's more physical, but there's there's not going to be any rain when I prophesy. There is going to be those 3 days of darkness. I do want to say, guys, that I may have interpreted one thing wrong. When I said we have a bunch of decades, the thing is, there's, we have 42 months, there's going to be 42 months of the preaching of the two witnesses. Well, I may have interpreted that a little longer, maybe being as 42 years, but God corrected me on some stuff on that. He didn't correct me on the, he's been visited me tremendously about the 3 days of darkness and helping me that is set, that's happening, that's totally happening. And all the stuff I've told you is totally happening. But they said 3 times my angels about, because I would say this is a rehearsal for things to come, and they said this is not a rehearsal, this is not a rehearsal. So guys, he gave me the date, and that is rock solid, and it goes with this 227. This 227 is prophetic of the numbers that fit into that. We don't have long until the two witnesses get on the scene. You'll find out that I'm training you guys to be those two witnesses. You'll find out that when he actually gave me the date, believe it or not, for when the two witnesses are going to start their preaching. Because, guys, they have to be ready so they know when they can start their preaching. So he's giving me the date to tell them when to start. And when it's over, they are going to be killed. This happens before the rapture. Believe it or not, this happens before the rapture. They are going to be killed. They're going to go up. And it is not long, guys. It is not long. It's included. I'll say it just so you can know. It's included in this decade, this next 11 years. It's included before that, before the end of that. And it is what causes a woman to go into the wilderness so she can be built up for those times that it says times and half a time to be built up. And it's from then that the temple of God will be rebuilt. Those two witnesses are going to have their part in their part of the tearing down with me to tear down things. And then things are going to be rebuilt after they finish their testimony and are killed. And I'm going to be, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be, he's left me here to comfort you guys after that time that they have their time. But I'm pretty sure I need to check with him on this. But I do know about them coming before the woman going to the wilderness and all that for sure. That's rock solid. He made that clear to me. But the as far as the rapture goes, pretty sure she goes into the wilderness first for a times and half a time, and then that starts. There's going to be, because you know what I mean, we live through part of the tribulation, and then there's tribulation, and then there's great tribulation. And it says I'll cast them into great tribulation who, you know, don't repent about Jezebel. So, you know, the indication is that whether you are alive on earth or not, if you're in holiness, you won't be cast into great tribulation. But tribulation is something. And a seed of the two witnesses are going to go into the ground for a testimony. Not all of them are going to go. And God showed me about protection and everything, and I'm actually gonna raise up my rod to raise them. This is crazy. If I'm right about this, guys, remember I told you about the 3 woes of the book of Revelation, chapter 9. The first one is the 3 days of darkness. The second woe, and then third. Well, that second woe, you know, there's gonna be they're gonna go into the ground, and I'm gonna do what I did before, raise up my rod to call them to go into the ground the first time when they finish their testimony, and then raise it up again to call them up from the like I do the 3 days of darkness, call them up from the ground after being dead 3 days. And Satan's not going to be happy about that, and it's going to be a testimony. And I got to check about some certain things. But it's okay, guys, to understand that even though I'm this Elijah's person, I'm still like you guys. I know what he reveals to me. And the prophets, it says we prophesy in part, we know in part. But I guarantee you everything that is in that book, when I release it, it'll be exactly what the Lord wanted to say. And I do want to say that he's given me permission to do this, guys. I'll just be honest with you. This is 227 chapters. I'm not going to be able to read all of it, unfortunately. I'm going to read the best parts that you need to hear. I will eventually read the book to you, but he allowed me to do this because it was taking so long to get this information that I had to be just clear, perfectly clear. That some parts of it are a little rough. Some parts of it, like, you might think, oh, he's going on rambling about this or that. But it's not that. But it's just there are things of the world, and he put all kinds of prophetic symbols in them. And I wrote a lot out of it and carved it to where you could understand it more specific. But some of the parts in there are a little harder to understand, and I can always go back and explain that to you guys later. But sometimes the Spirit moves like a wind, and he gives a piece of information, and he tells about this, and you may not know, how is this like this next symbol? That doesn't even seem to fit together at all. But you have to be in my head to understand that, and I can explain that to you guys later, and I can, I want to say, when I'm prophesying about these characters in movies and demons, and I'm not just prophesying about them, like, oh, something to say or whatever, these are demons, all these characters, It the Clown, that is a real demon, and he represents something. Batman represents something. It's connected also to these 2 beasts. And so when I talk about these 2 beasts and I compare them to Batman and Superman, I'm not literally saying they're Batman and Superman. I'm saying these are 2 demons that represent that. And I'm prophesying of them to understand what kind of things they're going to be doing, that there's going to be a darkness. There's going to be a dark night of the soul. There's going to be dark armies on the earth, and read the book of Revelation about how it's not a physical beast. It's a kingdom that is made up of 4 parts, you know, and you can just look at that. What does a lion represent? Think about the country represents a lion. Think about the country that represents an eagle, you know, America. And having its wings plucked. What does that mean? The American eagle's wings being plucked. Think about you know, all those things, a leopard and all those things. Feet like a bear, Russia, and all these things. And so that's the first beast, and there's certain other things, and we're going to see an emergence of that. And there's King Nebuchadnezzar. You got to think about type and shadow of that, and he's kind of a type and shadow of that first beast. He gets changed into a beast, appeared 7 times, passes over him until he knows the Most High is Lord. And then there's his son Belshazzar. You got to think about, kind of represents a false prophet. And so when it says the beast and the false prophet, it's talking about that government and the false prophet, the Antichrist, that's indwelled with the body of the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist. And that's a big beast, and hell. And this beast that comes, this first one, is a spirit, a demonic spirit of Satan, but it is the spirit of the devil. But he has, you know, like eagle's wings, like he has America. He has Russia, the feet of a bear. And so, you know, you got to break down the symbols. And And also, there's some things about Babylon the Great and everything. That is going to fall, guys. And pretty sure we're going to see that. There's parts in the book of Zechariah. There's all kinds of pieces he gave me. This is too much. And so, guys, there's going to be some clusters that you're not going to understand. I'm only going to be able to prophesy what you can. I promise I'll read the book to you eventually, but I'm going to prophesy each day what I can. And I'll skip over to the other chapters that are most important. And after these days of darkness, you'll know what I said was true. And so I can always go back and read the entire book to you. And I'm probably going to... I might release it like chapter this, chapter that, in a bunch of videos. And so if you see the chapters, click on them in the order that they're in. Click on chapter 1 first or chapter 2 first, even if they're uploaded in a different order, so you won't be confused. And he's also, another thing is, Paulette bought me that suit, that black suit one time, or the cloth for preaching in sackcloth. I just want to regretfully say I can't sew it together, unfortunately, right now, because I'm so busy with these prophecies. Jesus gave me the permission of a few things that I didn't have to do. He said, focus on just getting what you can get prophesied out there. Don't worry about blowing a shofar. I'm sorry I did buy the shofar, but he said I can do that later, and I am going to be prophesying later with the 2 witnesses. However, and I think a lot of it is going to be online, guys, so the 2 witnesses do. And Jerusalem, the city they preach on, I could be wrong, but, you know, Jerusalem, guys, it means peace. They're preaching in that city of peace. They're preaching in the city of God. And while they're in that city, people kill them that are in that same city of Jerusalem, they're supposed to be the children of God that kill them. They're going to betray them, you know, over to the world government and everything, and have them killed, a remnant of them, a seed of them. So don't be afraid, guys. If you're going to be the ones preaching this, don't be afraid, okay? Because if it is your time to go, then God will give you peace. But you need to do whatever God tells you to do, because he's going to pour out tremendous power on them. And I don't believe they're going to be in fear at all. But they need to lay down their testimony. They need to strike the earth with plagues. They need to do this to save people. If they don't do this, many nations will perish. And God, you know, those people their life can be required of them. But the people that lay down their lives, you know, for God are going to go to heaven. So, you know, be ready for that. But guys, we don't have a lot of time forever. God said he's going to do a quick work and redeem many. And I had my plans to do things longer, and he had his plans, and he wanted to do this really shortly, you know. And I've been hastening so quickly to do this. If I would have known this was going to happen, I would have started this with you guys years ago, but God planned it this way. I find that number 27 all over in movies where the devil's taking crazy harvests. He's taken that number and twisted it, and so apparently he saw something about that number, maybe that God was going to use in the future. I don't know, or it's connected to harvest, and he just made it evil, and God's taken that number back. He's put an extra 2 on the 27 for an extra blessing. And when I did these prophecies, and he gave me 3 days of darkness, I saw in hold on a second. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. I saw in the dream. I found out it was when I was dumped into the belly of the well of Jonah. I saw after I woke up that I counted the days when he said October 6th to 27th to prophesy, and it was 22 days. And so first I decided to look up 10:27 for October 27th, and it just talked about, you'll see my face no more, Pharaoh said to Satan, and that is prophetic, that I'm not going to see his face anymore. He's going to let God's people go. But I do want to say, they're not going to be let go right away, but that sign of October, the 3 days of darkness, signify the symbol of what they're going to go through. They're a sign of the greater 3 days of darkness that are spiritual, that are going to go through some number of years, more than 3 years. And it has a multiple of 3s. And then they're going to be let go. But I decided to look up 10:22, because it's 22 days on the 10th of October. And it said that Moses lifted up his staff and caused darkness over the land 3 days, and I was shocked when I saw that. And in that 7th verse or whatever, 22:7, you know, it said, then he said, you know, you'll see my face no more. Moses said to Pharaoh, because Pharaoh said basically, I'm going to kill you if I see your face anymore. And so that's totally rock solid. You can bank on that, guys. And I want you to be ready for this, because this darkness is going to be living, as I said. It's going to be living. It's alive. It has a texture to it. There's going to be demons swallowing people up in that darkness, and all these images. See, back then, guys, in Egypt, they didn't have all those evil movies we're watching now, but we're watching. I'm not watching them, but the world's watching them. Those images are going to come out of their hearts and their minds and torment them, because the darkness, Jesus said, will bring out what is in a man's heart, good or bad. If a man has a light, that darkness won't come into his house, but it'll be thick darkness outside, because he's going to be shining with the light of Jesus. But that darkness is going to it's going to torment a person, what's in their heart, if they have evil things. They'll be tormented by images of because that darkness, even when they're awake, the powers of their mind are going to be shaken. They'll be tormented by the images of It the Clown, if they watch that, or Freddy Krueger, or it'll be even worse if they fall asleep during that time. But if they're standing up, they'll have to remain standing. They can't, that's what it said in the book of Enoch when the 3 days of darkness happened. Whoever was standing up had to remain standing. Whoever was sitting had to remain sitting. But during the 3 days of darkness, guys, it's going to happen at noon at my time. And so check your time. You got to check your time. So don't call me false if it doesn't happen at 12 noon your time, because it's 12 noon my time. But it can't be 12 noon everywhere. Unless, I don't know, if God stops the earth if he wants to, or does something crazy to make it darkness everywhere, fine. Like, you know, how about the earth, you know, spinning and everything. But everything's going to go into darkness. I don't know how that'll work, but everything is going to go into darkness. I can't see, now that I think about it, you know, if it's 12 noon, if it's 12 noon over here, it'll still be 4 o'clock or whatever over there, whatever it is. But anyways, this stuff is kind of, you know, beyond me and stuff. I've never done anything like this before. God is the one doing it. It's just me. I'm just, you know, releasing this sign and everything, with lifting up the rod and everything. And there's going to be other things. There's 3 great woes. I know I'm going to perform this first 2 woes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to perform the 3rd, but there's other things, you know. This is a lot of stuff, so I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up. I'm not going to be in sackcloth. I'll probably just put on a black shirt, you know, and kill the lights, like I said, and kind of have these fire lights, you know, when the lights are off and everything, and just be preaching like that, you know, and trying to think of what else, if there's anything. I don't want to leave anything out. Can't blow the shofar right now. I can't put this into a scroll writing now. I'm going to have to just read it off the phone. Then I can do that later. But the important thing is the sign happens. The prophecies get out there. I'm going to be preaching from October 6th to October 27th. And then I'll shut off the camera and then wait. And I'll probably go outside at 11 o'clock and just be talking to God and then do that sign. But I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I hope you understand this. Christina from my page, you're watching. God bless you. I haven't said anything bad about you. God bless you. You can think what you want to think. Everybody on here they're just my friends. I have no, you know, I'm just by myself. I'm single. I'm just helping out everybody. Men and women, whoever they are, they're my brothers and sisters in Christ. I don't know. I'm I'm single right now. I'm staying single. I'm not with anybody. I don't plan to be with anybody right now. I got a body of Christ to carry. I can't worry about that kind of stuff right now or anything like that. But God bless you all. God bless you, Christina. God bless everybody. Just be ready for this stuff, guys, and try to be prepared just in case, because I have something in October, and that happens before the 27th. There's going to be the signs. I've already told you guys, read Revelation 9. The things before that have to happen first. The corona was the first seal. You know, we've already seen that, you know, and so just be ready, guys. I love you guys. Until next time, shalom.